This is a love poem to you, Canada, my country.
Mi país, la mia regione, mon pays,
Yene Aga,
my country.
My country.
When I think of being Canadian, I think of the mix of cultures in Canada.
The simplest terms is to be equal. I think of the whole idea of a global village.
So I can do everything, even though I feel like I'm superwoman up in Canada. You're just here and you're just great.
Being Canadian, ay iba't ibang kultura nagkakasama sa isang magandang bansa.
There's somewhere for everybody. And I feel like that's something really special about Canada, and that's what I love about Canada.
It's a mixture of every culture that's around the world, and even now there's a mixture in here.
An entire community that works together to a common goal. And I think that's something I really hold closely, and I'm really proud about our country.
To be Canadian is to be able to be me.
I love you for your pleases and thank yous, and no, you go ahead. And I beg your pardon? How we find a place to settle, some grounded middle. I love you for Romeo Dallaire, that 125,000 of us, more than any other country, have been peacekeepers in the world, and there's more peace to keep, and we know it. I love you for your compromise, not homogenized, that you encompass and enfold, celebrate and hold old traditions and grow new ones that blend and morph to create something new. I love Caribbean and East Indian curry, gelato, udon, dim sum, and saganaki, opa! How flamenco and fancy shawl dance side by side, how burkas and kimonos address one another, and Tamil and Tagalog speak across the fence. I love that you celebrate Christmas, Diwali, winter moon, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, winter solstice, priests and priestesses, rabbis, ministers, and shamans, and still celebrate. I love that you look like a black man and a white woman together, and nobody turns. How we're growing into a black man and white man together, and nobody will turn. I love you for Brent Hawks and our first marriage and courage. I love you for your shadow parts. How in slavery, we looked down our noses at our southern neighbors and said, that is not us, but it was. Our partnership for our part in parting, Issei from Sansei, a child from their home and native land. I love you for your isms, how the last one in gets the shit kicked out of them. I love that a mere 80 years ago, women legally weren't persons, and that somehow, 80 years later, it's just another version. I love your dark parts without shame, because in the naming we spread light upon light and re-choose. I love you because we are growing something no one else in the world has, and can't even fathom how to begin. I love that David Suzuki is ours, bequeathed to us. How he holds the energy of the divine masculine, how he looks to loving our Earth Mother and demands that we do the same. I love our mountain stone people in the West, how we go flat, flat, flat into lands scarred with holes, glacier carved. That some of the oldest rocks on the planet live here. I love our Great Lakes and our fierce French-speaking Campaneros. I love our East Coast fisheries, dying to be reborn. I love freezing cold put on your long john winters and stinking hot will it ever get cooler summers. I love that you are over 200 First Nations, coming from Old Crow Flats and Bluefish Caves. That we tried to beat out your remembrance, but you are remembering yourself anyway. I love that everyone else here is a traveler, brought here to rebirth, to strive, thrive, fail, and succeed. And yes, I'll admit some arrogance that I am not American, that I don't care that we won't have the lowest prices at Walmart, because I know that if a young woman here has a baby alone, they will both be taken care of, and I will pay for that. Yes, I love you, Canada, and I know that I am not supposed to be proud and be a Canadian, that somehow the two can't coexist, but they do in me. I love that supposedly we have no sense of who we are, but that is because we are something that no one else can make sense of. I love your brokenness and your coming together, your faults and your alignments, the folly of your politicians, and the wisdom of your ancestors. But mostly, I love the manifestation of love and the hope that comes with it, that despite our vastness and differences, our cold and uncommon language, we know how to grow a circle and pull everyone in.